It's a real privilege to have with us today Mariana Mota, Olga Brito, and Isabel Mourão. We're going to share their screen and present in a moment, but first of all, I want to tell you a little bit more about each speaker, their biography. The presentation overall is going to be called Social and Therapeutic Horticulture in Portugal, Challenges for the Future. And the first speaker is Isabel de Maria Mourão, who's an associate professor at Polytechnic Institute Viana do Castelo, the Higher School of Agriculture since 1997. She completed her habilitation in agricultural sciences 2022 at the University of Trás-os-Montes e Alto Douro in Portugal, her PhD in 1995 at the University of Reading in the UK, and her master's in crop production in 89 at the University of Bath in the UK, and her licenciatura in agricultural engineering in 83 at Lisbon University. She began a new course. She started offering a new course in 2008, a master's in organic agriculture, which she coordinates. She is co-author and has helped coordinate 6 books relating to organic agriculture, published 37 articles in journals, and is co-author of more than 200 scientific articles in proceedings, book chapters, and technical periodicals. She supervised 32 master's theses and participated in several research and innovation projects in the areas of horticulture, social and therapeutic horticulture, ecology, plant physiology, and organic farming. She was president of the Portuguese Society of Horticultural Science and is a member of the Mountain Research Centre. The last speaker today is going to be Mariana Mota, who has a degree and a PhD in agronomic engineering from the Instituto Superior de Agronomia at the University of Lisbon. She began her professional activity there in 2004 with research work on the development of biotechnological tools to support horticultural production systems in the area of irrigation, fertilization, and phytosanitary control. Since then, research and teaching activities she's been involved in have been focused on the horticultural sector, particularly fruit and vegetable crops. She developed more than 20 scientific and technical projects aimed at improving cultural practices and fruit quality. And she collaborated in teaching of topics related to horticulture production systems and statistics. She is co-author of more than 70 scientific and technical articles and supervised more than 80 master's theses, being currently involved in supervising another 3 PhD students. She's also dedicated to social horticulture projects, such as the development and technical support of vegetable gardens in urban environments, namely at schools and disadvantaged neighbourhoods. And last but not least, our middle speaker is Olga Marina dos Reis Brito, a forest engineer since 2001 with a master's in agricultural economy in 2012 from the Higher Institute of Agronomy at Lisbon University. And in 2023, her postgraduate degree in evaluation of social programs and projects at the Catholic University of Lisbon. With 15 years of experience in social farming, organic horticulture, and sustainable gardening. In 2023, she participated as an expert in the EU CAP network focus group on social farming and innovations in developed social agricultural projects with the aim of promoting the employability of people with mental disabilities or mental illnesses with private social solidarity institutions. She's currently a senior technician responsible for maintaining green areas and social agricultural projects at the Parish Council of Santo Antonio dos Cavalheiros, main horticulturist at the Farming Bits Farm, and a trainer for the gardening operator course of the Protocol Centre of Justice, CPJ, which aims to promote training activities to enhance the young population in charge of the services and bodies of the Ministry of Justice with a view to their integration into society. I'm going to hand over now to Isabel, who's going to share her screen and begin the presentation.
Hello, everybody. I would like to thank you the invitation of Trellis, which is a pleasure to be here with all these people around the world. Our presentation I will start with this first topic, what happens in social and therapeutic horticulture in Portugal. Briefly, we know that social therapeutic horticulture integrates programs that aim to contribute to the well-being improvement of people's quality of life, namely their physical, mental, and emotional health. It offers opportunities for socialization, active participation, and physical stimulation of the sense, concentration, and creativity. Let me put this in another place. Sorry. In Portugal, social and therapeutic horticulture is mainly in different scenarios of urban agriculture. And this is important as today one of the city resilience integrates the sustainable development goals, becoming an essential issue at a global level. The different intervention areas in Portugal include day centers and elderly care homes and retirement communities, mental health hospitals, prison establishments, temporary residence centers for homeless people, residences for children and young people without families at risk or in rehabilitation, vocational training centers for people with developmental and or other disabilities, kindergarten schools from primary to higher education, companies and offices, and urban community gardens. We produced a book in 2013 which presented several examples of activities of different places where people work in horticulture and social horticulture and social and therapeutic horticulture. Also, this book presented a calendar of activities, an annual and description of the different activities, and also technical approach for organic vegetable production, herbs, and edible flowers. Also in Portugal, we had already two national symposiums on social and therapeutic horticulture. The first one in 2016 and last one last year. The second one last year, which involved every people from the country involved in these topics. Starting by some examples in Portugal, starting by therapeutic gardens, which are normally associated with hospitals and other healthcare institutions, are designed to give beneficial effects as mental rest, stress reduction, emotional recovery, and reinforcement of physical and mental energy. This is two examples. This is one example in the Champalimau Clinical Center in Lisbon, which focus on cancer diseases. And this is an example on an elderly care home in Pombal, which is a place in the north of Portugal. Other examples, what I'm going to give here is just to have an approach of what we are doing in our country. This is a kindergarten and the elderly day center, which create a very interesting intergenerational interaction, which is benefits for children and elderly people. Also, another example is a project, the Herb Garden and Wellbeing, that runs in Viana do Castelo, where people from different places, where they are people that are institutionalized or in the day centers, and they come to this garden to do different workshops. This is an elderly care home where also therapeutic horticulture is running. This is a mental health and rehabilitation center in Coimbra with many years and work with mainly with children and young people. Another one in Almeida, which is a place that both this one in Coimbra and this one in Almeida are both places that were started by people that have children with mental health problems, and they start these great places where they live and they work in agriculture and horticulture. Another one, but this is not people that live there. They come every day for working, and so is a kind of rehabilitation center. Then there are two places as examples where people, where it's a kind of vocational training center for people with developmental disabilities, where they have courses, professional training courses in horticulture. This one is in Cascais, and this one is in Barcelos. They so they can send young people to work after these courses in different places that they help to found. This is there are more than several prison establishments. This one is in Setúbal, but they are done also in Cascais, and they are starting in Oporto, working with. So this includes also training and training in horticulture, so they can have some skills after they come out the establishment. Working in temporary residence centers for homeless people. This one is in Lisbon. This one is in Braga in the north. From the Red is running by the Red Cross, the Portuguese Red Cross, and we have done some. Here is an example where we had a student from our MSc in organic farming, and we have done several workshops with the homeless people, and it was very well. It ran very well, and people are interested, and they some has some background on agriculture, so this was very enthusiastic for them. Also, we have done some a study tour, for example, where people went to different places, and they can see and learn about agriculture and horticulture. Also, there are some community gardens for economically and socially disadvantaged people. This one is in the north, and also is another place where we started an organic community garden for these people, families that they use the plots and the training they that was so this included a training for these families, and they also actually they use the plots to for the family for the family food. Um, there are a lot of different projects and working with kindergartens and primary and secondary schools. This is an example of I'm going to give this example of Cascais, which is very interesting. It's a council that works with more than 40 schools in the council, and they give training in organic farming to the teachers, technical support for planning and implementation of the garden, resources such as plants, organic fertilizer, tools, irrigation system. The school use a kind of guide, which is an organic garden notebook that we produced for this council, which guides the teacher and the students through the different phases of the garden cultivation, allowing great autonomy. What we have done, 3 volumes, one for the students, another one for the teachers, and one for the operation of the different gardens. and is very interesting. And it is in actually they use combines the subjects taught in the classroom with the garden tasks, giving the students the opportunity to explore new knowledge through practical activities in the garden. Um, these are the one page of this book. Now coming to the more common urban community gardens, many of them in Portugal are in organic production, which is good news. This one is in Oporto. And now I'm just finishing with this question of evaluation, all these kind of projects that runs in different places. I think this is important to see and to implement more and to motivate is to study the effects and the benefits of these kind of projects. This one was done. They are coming from MSc dissertations of students. This one was in Famalicão, which is a city in the north, where we have analyzed the effects of these kind of urban allotments. Um, we have done a kind of questionnaires, and also we applied some scales. So respondents were mainly adults under 65 years, married and academically qualified, and about 50% had a professional activity, with nearly one third of being retired. They consider themselves happy and with their lives. We use this kind of personal well-being index, which was 74.5, and revealed an optimist and positive attitude towards life, regardless of economical or social difficulties. The increased frequency of visits for gardening was positively related to a greater perception of subjective happiness. The gardeners who visit more frequently considered themselves happier from a self perspective and in comparison with peers. It can be suggested that urban organic allotment gardens represent a means for enhancing citizen well being, contributing positively to their feelings of happiness and life satisfaction, changing behaviors, and developing personal capacities. Beyond economic measures, urban allotment gardens can be recommended to capture the well-being of societies. Another study that we published was a work done in the mental health hospital Conde Ferreira, and the study was impacts of therapeutic horticulture on happiness and loneliness in institutionalized clients with mental health conditions. Therapeutic horticulture can be considered a non-pharmacological approach to support psychiatric treatments for the improvement of physical and mental health, but information is lacking on whether it has advantages as compared to more conventional occupational therapies. The measured were the subject happiness scale and the social and emotional loneliness scale for adults. The main results were scores obtained from both scales were generally similar for both groups, so with other occupational therapies and with horticulture. Although 40% of the clients in the therapeutic horticulture group received relaxation, this is in agreement with previous studies performed with chronic schizophrenia clients, reporting that therapeutic horticulture might effectively decrease depression and anxiety symptoms, but the feeling of hopelessness and quality of life did not change, probably due to long-term institutionalization and required medication that may limit other effects. Within the therapeutic horticulture group, clients preferred specific horticultural tasks, and more days per week attending activities decreased loneliness and increased happiness. So therapeutic horticulture interventions as an integrative treatment option merits further study on both process and outcome evaluation to maximize its effectiveness. This is a kind of only to see what briefly what we are doing in Portugal. Now, my colleagues will talk about ongoing projects that they are working today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Isabel. I'm going to start to share my screen. Okay, first of all, I have to say thanks to the Trellis organization for these seminars, and it's a privilege for me to be here. I work in social farming since 2009. I am a forest engineer. I develop projects for institutions in order to provide jobs for people with mental disability and mental illness. I develop business plans in order to show to investors, because it's possible to have this kind of projects and to be sustainable. The profits are not very good, but it's say they are able to be sustainable. Since 2018 that I work in the Parish Council of Santo António dos Cavaleiros with a project that I called the Edible Gardens Project. And I also work with institutionalized children and young people at the Education Center of António Oliveira. So, the Edible Gardens Project are in the Parish Council of Santo António dos Cavaleiros with a total area of 9.20 square kilometers. We have at least 25.5 hectares of green spaces. The area that is projected for the edible gardens for the first phase is 800 square meters, about 40 edible gardens. I have to say that the parish council is quite near Lisbon, so the construction and the pressure for construction is really higher. We have community gardens, vegetable gardens that are in areas that probably there are going to be buildings there, but these projects are the edible gardens are in the green spaces and they are protected. It's not possible to build anything there. We have at least 30,000 inhabitants now, 20,000, 30,000, and it's increasing. So, edible gardens. I had this idea in 2020 during the lockdown because every morning I take my coffee at the coffee shop when they were open with the taxi drivers. And I realized that they were getting sadder and worried about the situation. It was a really bad situation. They didn't have any customers. And then one day I saw this small plot that didn't have anything except weeds and garbage. And I saw vegetables there. This plot is near this stop of for the taxis, and they started to grow vegetables there. And every morning they will stay there. They sit in the walls and they talk. And people that also passed by, they started to talk and take pictures of the vegetable gardens. At Christmas, they gave me some vegetables for my Christmas dinner. And I offered them seeds I think it was sunflower seeds. And what I realized is that their faces and their posture were different. They were happier, and there were more communication and connection. There was a connection between them, people, that the neighbors, and the community in that street. And it was a really simple thing that they did. They just start a little vegetable garden. So I thought about this project, that is a project of social farming, because the aim is not to produce vegetables, but to produce social services. So the parish council provides the installation and access to small vegetable gardens in the green public spaces, tools, seeds and plants for the first installation, education and training for the participants. The target group for this project are interested citizens who live near the places where we are going to put the edible garden. This is a very important, because we are not going to say that it's only for people that are older or they feel loneliness, they have mental health issues. It's for everybody that has the will to have some small vegetable garden to take care, and it's near their home. The criteria and rules are based on organic farming rules. It's forbidden any kind of chemicals and plastics. And if they want to put some trees or something at the edible gardens, they have to ask for permission. So this is one of the places that I was talking about. One of the aims of the project is to turning small unused plots into useful and productive vegetable gardens. So spaces that we have to maintain because they are green spaces, but people don't use. It doesn't have any kind of utilization, but we have to maintain. This is a place with a sidewalk. It's a kind of a nice place, but people just walk by. They don't do anything in here. And in this place we are going to put 3 edible gardens. We already have one, but we have more neighbors that are interested into to the project. This is the first one that we made. It was 40 square meters, I think, and the gardeners didn't want to take care of it. They said, okay, this is just ugly. We are not going to do this. It's too much work. And then I realized this is the first edible garden here we are going to do. It's near the school. We had citizens that were interested into participating in the project. This was the first project, the pilot project. And we made all the work. We put some compost, we put the first plants, we give the seeds, the tools, everything, we give the training. And it was kind of spontaneous after. It's like we didn't have to do anything else. In this last picture, the person that take care of the edible garden, it was one. And all the others just starting to get together because we were harvesting, and they started to ask, what are you doing? And we said, okay, we are harvesting these aromatic plants, for instance. Do you want something? Yeah, okay. And people that were taking their children off the school, the parents, also, they passed by and they get together. And when we realized it was a spontaneous gathering of people talking about farming and plants and nature and green spaces. So the connection between plants, nature and neighbors, it's one of the purpose of this project. And it's a kind of something that works almost alone. We have some projects that are connected with this one, like spin-offs of the project, like healthy food education for children and their families, and also a strategy of farm to school involving the young population. We have a lot of young families in this in the parish council. The other aim, the other purpose is to fight isolation and the increasing of mental health problems The parish council has psychologists and consultations of psychology, and we are feeling the increase of these kind of problems, especially since the lockdown of COVID and with the instability in general. In general, people are really feeling that they need help. Another thing that we really would like to do is to, and we are doing, is promoting relations between the immigrant communities. We have a lot of immigrant communities from India, America, Africa, and they are very active. They have a lot of activities, and one thing that they have also is their culture and their own kitchen and their own vegetables. So it's kind of interesting to change the vegetables, to know how to go through different things. And one of the ideas that we have is to have a show cooking, a party with the participants from these different communities. This is another edible garden. This is the structure and what we made to start the installation of the edible garden. Then we have to put a structure because of the dogs. And I had to ask to Dona Dolores to remove the plastic bag that she puts in the edible garden, and she removed it. And then we have other projects connected with the edible gardens. This is the place where we give the workshops and the training courses connected with the Senior Academy. Each week, the participants of the workshops at the Senior Academy, they take care of the vegetable garden. This is the workshop that we made at 27th of February with earthworms. And now the earthworms are like little pets from to all the participants. And this morning there was this lady, she called me and she asked me if she could feed the earthworms. And she said, oh, but I'm going to do exactly how you told me, with the coffee and with paper and the fleas, nothing that is cooked. Okay, you can put it. And she was really happy to take care of the pets. Connected also with the edible gardens, we have this project that we have the harvesting of the olive tree, and we put the olives at a factory where they produce our olive oil with our own label. It is olive oil from our garden, and we give these bottles to low-income families at Christmas. So I really believe that the edible gardens and is a social project for farming, and it has a purpose of to build a more knowledgeable community about agriculture and on how to produce their own food, contributing to empowerment. And the production of their own vegetables also contributes to resilience of the communities and food security in this world that is so unstable. To know how to produce our own food and to have this small space where you can do it, it's a security and the feeling of resilience also. Now, this is a project that is made in public area with public resources. And we are going to make an impact evaluation of the project next year. We are going to finish in order to decide the continuation of the project and the increasing or not of the edible gardens number. And this final evaluation, we are going to consider the creation of public value. What are the main impacts on the community as a whole of this kind of projects? And I think it's quite important, even for the political view, to show if there are impacts, what are the impacts, and if the community really feels the benefits of this kind of projects. Some of the phrases that are here. When I'm with my plants, gardening, I disappear. Everything disappears. It's just me and my garden. Another one. I was brought up in the countryside, used to having a vegetable garden. In the city, I always thought it was impossible, and my legs wouldn't allow me to go to a community vegetable garden. They are outside the urban area. Now I have this little space near me. I can tell you that her legs, this was a lady, and her legs are quite better because she leaves the house and go taking care of her vegetable garden. So these are people that are really happy for this opportunity. And I can say that it's not logistically, it's not very complex, but it is complex. But it's not something that I say that's really difficult to do. We're just using public spaces in green areas that people don't use, that we have to maintain, and make this a productive space with a lot of impacts in the community. So another project, it's not another project, it's a challenge that people ask me to do it. This is a training course that is made in the Educational Center Padre António Oliveira, near Lisbon also. And I'm working directly with children. I am not a horticulture therapist, but I'm using here strategies of the horticulture therapy. I can tell you that the figure and the certification or training courses of horticulture therapy doesn't exist in Portugal. We have professionals that are doing it, but there are no certifications. So if I want to do it, but I have to look outside the country. It has to be online in English. So if anyone wants to share it, I will be very happy. So the educational center is a house, a place that receives children that come for the execution of sentences. They have institutional measures that are provided by educational guardianship law and place the young person at this educational center by order of the court. There are different types of institutional measures in the pre-sentence phase before the trial and then after the trial. So the educational center provides, it's a place where they are, it's a prison for young people, but where they have the opportunity to complete the minimum education with classes, mathematics, Portuguese, also a citizenship education for inclusion, equality, environmental education, and also vocational training. They can have a vocational training on kitchen, for instance, and gardening and horticulture. For 1 year, 2 years, they are deciding how much time, depending on the sentence, of course, how much time they are going to stay with this vocational training. Target group have ages between 13 and 19, not 18, 19, because one of them are turning 18 now. They come from unstructured families, history of criminal behavior, delinquency, mental health issues, and mental disability. Mental health issues and mental disability are increasing in this kind of young people that come to the educational center. And that is it's more challenging because they were not expecting this kind of target group. So they are now trying to realize how they are going to work with this new reality. I have a group of 5 trainees. 2 of them have mental health problems and mental disability. Now we work at the gardens and vegetable gardens 4 afternoons a week. This is the main disciplines that I have to talk about during the course. The maintenance of lawns and meadows, plantations, pruning, plant propagation, harvesting, and the king machinery and equipment like the lawn mowers and brush cutters. Also rules of health and safety at work. And every day we talk about one theme. We are developing, for instance, maintenance of lawns, maintenance of gardens, irrigation system, etc. This is some of the works that we do as gardeners on horticulture and the daily routine. This is in a daily base. I'm dealing with anxiety, anger, frustration, and lack of perception of reality at the beginning of the institutional measure. When a child enters, he doesn't know how much time he's going to spend there. Before the trial, they don't know. After the trial, they know. So 1-2 weeks after they enter the educational center, they're starting to realize what is happening, and they don't know how much time they are going to stay there. After the trial, they know how much time they are going to stay there, and it's like a shock. So this is really make them more unstable. A lack of patience. They can have patience to do one task, and 5 minutes later, they don't want to do the task. The lack of patience to wait for the growing of the plant, and the lack of patience for each other, it's always there. The conflicts escalate rapidly, really, really fast. I have guards with me and a monitor, and sometimes it's not possible to reach because they have to act immediately. Return to the starting point with the entry of new elements in the group. Yes, when someone new enters, I've worked the group, they have some routines and suddenly starting point again. And unstable behavior. One day they can be great, they do everything, but the other day it's more difficult. They are angered, they have frustration inside of them, and it's more difficult to work with them. So I have my strategy that it's like my praise, that nature that surrounds me is my best work tool. So I have to use it in order to provide them the best way to spend that afternoon. The first one is the use of specific plants that arouse curiosity. The first one, the heart plant, Hoya Carey, because of the shape. And it's really, really easy to take care of. I can say that everybody loved the plants. Everybody started to touch the plant. Oh, it's a form of a heart. Even the guards, they like it very much. Carnivorous plants, of course. They spend half an hour, 1 hour feeding the plants, including the guards. They take bugs to give to the plants, and it's the first thing that they want to see every afternoon. Abundant flowering plants, Agazania, or midday plants, which blooms at its peak at midday. At midday, they want to see the plant. Before midday, they want to see how is the plant. And after, they want to see if it's really closing. And they want to see also, okay, what's time? So what time is it? So let's go and see the plant. This is connections. They create connections with the plants, with the environment. Another one, aromatic and medicinal plants, in this case, the stevia, that the fleas are sweet. So everybody, and now the plants almost doesn't have any fleas because everybody are eating the plants, including the guards too. Another strategy, the installation of blooming sensory gardens. We make small gardens, and I use mature, flowering, fast-growing plants for visible results in a very short time. They have to see that what they are doing has results, and people see the results. The lack of patience in here is one of the things that I have to deal with and to negotiate. And the starting of the agroforest project, it makes all sense in here because it allows for a rapid transformation of the landscape. There is a greater group involvement, and we work together with nature in ways of respect. So this is some examples of the gardens that we are making. I can say that the main benefits of therapeutic horticulture with this kind of specific group is the connection with the surrounding environmental and nature, because they are disconnected. Everything, they lose their freedom, they are disconnected. And suddenly, for 5 minutes, it can be all the afternoon or only 5 minutes, but they are connected with something that is real, that is alive, and that they can also change to make some kind of difference. The responsibility arises, the confidence also, the anxiety controlling here is more easier. Teamwork and conflict management also are easier. They see immediate results at the end of the day, and the visibility of their work for others, it's there. I mean, other people see immediately what they are doing. And then they have the opportunity to leave the room, and to learn and gain skills. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it. They are learning, they don't care, they don't want to stay there. But at the other day, they tell me, okay, but we can do what were doing in the last day. So they are listening and they are thinking about what they can do after that. These are the plants that we are using, like Lampranthus and Euryops, with flowers and fast growing, and really plants that are very resilient. And yeah, bugs, of course, always bugs. Ladybugs, spiders, they know that when I'm near them, they cannot kill spiders, or I don't remember the name of this in English, but every time that I see a bug, like ladybugs, I show them and explain something to them. So thank you. I will now give the word to Mariana.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon to everybody, and thanks a lot to Trellis organization for the wonderful work you do, and also for the opportunity for us all from Portugal, and in particular for me to be here. It's really a great pleasure. And I would like to finish this presentation from Portugal, talking a bit about the projects we have been developing primary schools here in Lisbon. So in fact, we are doing vegetable gardens in primary schools, also to produce vegetables and to show vegetables to the kids, but mainly to use them as a tool for social interaction and integration. Okay, so for sure, when we think about setting up a vegetable garden, our main goals have to do with growing vegetables. But in fact, our goals are also, on one hand, to increase the knowledge of the kids about basic needs, both for the children and from the plants, increase their respect for life and nature, to show them the diversity of plants that exist and what they can use and what they can eat. And okay, to promote healthy food habits like the Mediterranean diet, because I mean, we are from Portugal. We need to somehow support to develop Mediterranean diet. We are very much committed to, and mainly to increase the consumption of fruits and vegetables. Other type of goals, so there's another set of goals, let's say, that are more social goals, let's put it this way. So we want to promote a kind of a greener environment in the schools. So greener in the sense that we have more green spaces in the playground or in the windows or in the balconies or whatever space we can find in the schools, but also greener in the sense that it's more peaceful, that there are less conflicts, that there is less violence, that there are less aggressions. I mean, to try to get a bit smoother the atmosphere in the primary schools. And we try this in two ways. On one hand, to promote interaction between the children, and another way to promote interaction between the children and the grown-up people. When we are dealing to promote interaction between the children, we always, I mean, in most part of the schools where I've been doing this or where we did this, we work with kids from the same class, so they are more or less the same age. But there are schools, when I come there and they tell me this is a terrible school, there are big ones that failed already many years and they are still here, but they are much older and they are always after the small ones to steal them this or to do them that and that. And there we try a different approach. There we try to put classes mixed. So big kids and big kids, it's 12, 13, 11, 12, 13. And the small ones are 6, 7, or 8, let's put it this way. So it's not that big and that small, but that's more or less like it works. And so we try to put them together. We try to put them together to work and to see if they somehow get used to work together and to reduce a bit the violence. To promote the interaction between the children and the grown-up people. It's important because children feel a bit afraid to go to the teacher, to go to the assistant. And so it's a way to somehow to put them to break a bit this ice and to make them to have a better communication. So in fact, we have these goals and we use the growing of the vegetables for all of this. So not really to grow the vegetables. Our starting point is in fact a primary school. And a primary school, I mean, several of them we did this, but this primary school is somehow a house where we have students and we have teachers and we have assistants. And we have to deal with these three groups. So we really have to cope with the needs and the expectations and the wills and the moods and everything from the three groups. And so how do we do this? We visit the schools regularly. So sometimes once a week, sometimes more frequent, sometimes less frequent. It depends also on the school year of the class we are visiting and on the curriculum they have to follow and how the teacher organizes the topic during the year and what they ask us to. But in all of them, or more or less all of them, what we try is really to make always the parallel, to establish the parallel between setting up a vegetable garden and inviting a friend to our house. So for all the sessions we do there, always the comparison that it's behind, it's always set up a vegetable garden is like to have a friend to our place. So we have to take care of him, we have to welcome him, we have to treat him good. Okay, so it's always the thing that runs in our mind when we are discussing this with them. And then the first topic we have to address, it's which friend do we invite? At this time in the classroom, it's a big chaos because everyone says, I want this and I want that and I want that. I said, okay, then let's make the parallel to the vegetable garden. And this means which crops will we have in the vegetable garden? I mean, this is normally a rather participated but confused decision. But at the end, we come to a list of plants and we see the votings and we check those that they like better, and it can be done in this time of the year and so and so. So at the end of this session, we always have a list, which is the important thing, what we need from this day. A bit more chaotic, a bit less chaotic, it doesn't matter, at least we have the list. And then we start. And then we start with always with, as I told you, with this parallel, to make the friend feel at home. So the same way, when we have a friend at home, we prepare everything at home, a bed and everything. So we also have to prepare the soil to welcome the plants. And so we discuss this always with this point of view, and we explain them as at home you have fresh bed clothes and we have a vacuum cleaner or whatever to clean. We also have special tools to work in the vegetable garden. And we explain them how to use the tools, the gardening tools, that some are for grown-up people, some others are for smaller people. And we try to get them to use them in a more or less proper, safe way. More than proper, important thing is that it's in a safe way. If it's proper or not, we let it be, more or less, I have to say. And then once we have already set up the conditions for welcoming the friend. Then we say, okay, the friend came, he has to go to bed. And now we're going to bed. It's to start to install the plants. I mean, the installation of the plants, it depends on the age of the kids we are dealing with and the curriculum, the program, the curriculum they have from the school, because there are some school years where they learn the part of the plants. There are others where they learn the seeds and how to germinate the seeds. And with these ones, we make the direct sowing, or we make a nursery in the classroom during winter, and then we plant it in spring. Some others, we bring already the plants ready to plant in spring. So it really depends on what we agree with the teacher, or what the teacher asks, also with the topics, with the subjects they are dealing in the school. The main thing is that at the end we have something. So some things are planted, some other things we did the direct sowing. It doesn't really matter. The important thing is that we have some plants there. This is what we want. After the plants are installed, then we start to address the topic of food. This is always an important topic for the kids, and so this is a topic they like. We take the chance to discuss a bit that it's important to have different kinds of food, different types of food, but mainly different vegetables, different fruits. We go through the food wheel for sure, because this is something that, at least in Portugal, they address in many times during the school years. So we discuss again the food wheel, and we discuss the groups that are important for sure. We emphasize again the vegetables and the fruits, the olive oil, because we are in Portugal, so we produce a lot of olive oil and we consume a lot of olive oil, the cereals, the legumes, and we point out through the importance of the water. Okay, so we take the chance to stimulate the kids, that they are aware that they need to drink water. And then we make the parallel to the plants, and we explain that also the plant have needs for different nutrients. So we explain about nitrogen and magnesium and potassium, whatever, but we say plants need lots of things like you. So the best way is, instead of picking one from each position of the food wheel, then you rather make a mixture, like you make a soup, or like your mother makes a soup or a salad. And our soup or salad for the plants, it's called the compost. Okay, and then we come to the compost story. Then we explain them what is compost and what they should use to produce compost, what they should not use, or what they can use in small portions. And the main rationale behind this is that they really know they can all produce compost. So we always tell them they should put it like in a lasagna, because this is something they know very well what it is. So in layers, and that they should combine the more woody things with more green things and put it in layers, and then the water and the aeration, whatever. And so the important thing is that they come to the knowledge they can do it by themselves. And they can do it if they have a container in the school, they can do it in a bigger composting unit, but otherwise they can do it in a plastic container, they can do it. Some teachers, they want to do it in the classroom, so they have a container in the classroom and they do it. Some others, they don't want to have it in the school at all. And so the kids do it at home and bring it to the school. So it really depends, and we go on adapting to the school and to the teacher and to the group we have. But the important thing is that they learn they can do it. After the food, we go to the drink. We emphasize again the importance of drinking water. And for us, it's important because we see many kids in primary schools that come with juices for the break in the middle of the morning or the afternoon. They come with the sweet things and juices and so on. So we try to emphasize again the importance of drinking water. And again, the parallel, as we drink water, also the plants need to drink water. So we explain them how you should give water to the plants and how you can do it. And the important thing is that you water the plants, not yourself, not the colleagues, not the air, not whatever. This is important because we have not so much sweet water. We are a small country with problems with sweet water, with water scarcity, and so it's important for us to. And in the primary schools, we are watering with the tap water, so water from the company. So it's really important that they don't consume a lot of water, because otherwise the direction will say no more vegetable garden. And so it's important that we manage to convince them to spare water. The last technical aspect, let's put it this way, the last phytotechnical aspect, it's the phytosanitary question. So this is the last topic we address with them. And again, we make the parallel with their situation, with our situation. They are conditions that sometimes a hug and a kiss from the mother plus a bag of hot water solve the problem. There are other situations that you need to take some medicine, some tablets or so. And again, we make the parallel to the plants. It's important to look at them, and sometimes we do some extracts and we use other plants to yield these plants, but other times we need some other help. And so there are some helpers, and we explain them a bit about the auxiliaries, the beneficial insects that can help us to avoid the enemies of the plants and so on. We take the chance here to explain them that there are lots of insects and lots of animals, and to address again the topic of diversity. And that's important to know that the distance between the enemies and the beneficials is not that far, and that it's important that they know it. And if they don't know it, they should ask for help. Also, I mean, also sometimes we address this also, for instance, with the mushrooms. So it's important that they only touch and they only use what they really know, that they don't think they know everything, because then it can be problematic for them. And so at this stage, we discuss this, and it's on one hand, they see, but we always show lots of photos from different insects, and they see on one hand the diversity of nature, and on the other hand, that there is lots of possibilities, and this is something that makes them confident about future, and it's a nice atmosphere at this stage. Okay, so after all of this, what is the result? I mean, the result, it's diverse. It depends on the schools and on the conditions of the schools. The result can be these. So if we have a normal soil, we can do it like in the upper photo or in this one. I don't know if you see the mouse. But it can also be something in a plastic container at the entrance of the school or in a window or whatever. It depends on what they have. It can be in wood boxes, and sometimes this we also do when we have schools. We have schools that have special education for disabled kids, and that they are also in wheelchairs. And so we do some wood boxes that we can sit in the wheelchair, that the kid has his own vegetable garden. And so we do the vegetable garden with whatever we have and whatever they have in the school. Everything is useful, everything is fine, and you can do it everywhere. So this is the main concept behind it. So it can be like this, as told you. It can be like this. The important thing is they harvest what they grow. Normally they harvest everything they grow. We try to grow things that are ready with the school year, that they still have it. And normally we cook it or we use it in the classroom. If it's winter, we try to make a soup. If it's summer, we make a salad. But we try to consume it in the classroom with them and the teachers, the assistants, myself, and them. But we don't. There was a time where we discussed if some families with lower income, if they could take the products maybe home or so. But then we found out that it was so confused and it was so complicated. And then the kids started to comment to each other and in fact, to be mean to each other because you take and I don't take and this and that we decided, okay, the main goal of the vegetable garden is for sure not to produce the vegetable product. So everything we produce, we eat in the classroom and we finish the story. So everything at the end, it's over. And so, in fact, the most important result for me and for us that are involved in this, more than, okay, the vegetable project and that they learn the diversity and everything, the most important is that we get a greener school and that we get a school where there are no more teachers, assistants and students, and there is a community. And this is something that the vegetable garden, it's very useful for. So it's kind of a concrete that binds all the agents in the school. And for instance, even in the schools that they were more complicated, and that we had, as I told you, the big kids and the smaller kids, and there was always episodes of violence. And so with this strategy of we always find a task that we make them in pairs or in groups of too big and too small. And then we always get some tasks that the small ones can't do because they don't have power enough, they don't have the strength. But they also have tasks that only the small ones can do, that the big ones they have too large hands or they don't fit in the hole or this or that, and that they really need each other. And with this strategy that they really need each other, they started at least to get a relationship. As Olga was saying, there is something that binds them, that puts them together, and that makes it easier than to deal with the conflicts that for sure they arise. but they managed to cope better with them. And so
Mariana, sorry, we are running out of time. So can I ask you
last
to wrap
the
up?
last one?
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
the last one. So as I told you, we had all these goals with our vegetable garden, more than producing the vegetables, but in fact, the main thing is really the social goals, I would tell you. And so I would say that the vegetable garden is really a strong brick in social construction. It's the keystone in social construction. Okay, this is for me the main advantage of the vegetable garden in the school. So I'd like to thank you all for the attention.
Thank you, Mariana, and sorry to interrupt there just when you were coming to your closing message. We have run over a little bit, but I think it was great. It was great to hear from you all, and so we will have a tiny amount of time for some questions, just 4 minutes, and then we will have to wrap up just because of the next presentation starting at 7. We have to download the video and meet a little bit early. That was fantastic, and I think the comments in the chat testify to that. People are saying how inspirational your work has been, and particularly homing in on some of the aspects of the way you encourage children to think about taking care of their vegetables, making them feel at home, and how you make it seem achievable. So I'm going to just hand over to where's my colleague? Is it Jenny that's going to cover the question and answer, or is it Laura?
Linda.
Sorry, Linda. Linda, would you like to throw a couple of questions to our speakers, please?
Thank you. That really enjoyable. I love the way the three presentations had so much in them. That was me saying inspirational. I thought it was fabulous. Jenny, do you want to ask? You asked one of the questions about getting people engaged in the community garden from Olga. Do you want to ask a bit more specifically?
Yes, Olga, you were talking about engaging people in the community garden, and I wondered how you did that at first. Did you have to advertise it to the community? And how did you do that?
Well, at first, at the beginning, we started to talk with people. We knew people that had some vegetable gardens at public spaces, and there was always this problem. They are in there, and we have now we cannot, as a gardeners, they can't go there and take the plants because the plants are from someone else. And we talk with them. Why don't we have in here your house an edible garden? Okay. That was the starting point. Then we advertised it at social media. We had inscriptions, and there are places where it's really, for us, it's really useful to have edible gardens, because there are places that don't have any kind of utilization from the population, but we have to maintain. So we asked door by door, do you like to, we started to talk with the neighbors. And that's how we managed to have people to the edible gardens. It's face to face. When we need more people, then we advertise for, and we open more places for people to come to the inscription. They have to inscribe themselves. They have a contract. They have a contract that they have to sign, and they have to go to workshops, and then we make visits for the edible gardens. This is rules that we have.
Okay, thank you. Thanks very much.
Very interesting. Lucy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just quickly ask about this is a new concept for me called Therapeutical and Horticulture, because I'm learning Horticulture level 2. I don't know how this is connected. Is that really, if I want to become therapist, I need to go into further education in your place? How this work? Because the one of the the speaker said, oh, in Portugal, we don't have like a therapy, a therapeutical and how to say, horticulture, like a therapy training. But obviously what they approach is a therapeutic approach, but they don't really count them as a therapist. I just want to know the difference, and also in UK, where we can really to be trained like that.
Should that go to you, Fiona?
Yeah, just very quickly, Lucy, we could help you with that via the Trellis office. If you email us, we can cover all that, because there are one or two courses either existing in the UK or in development. And in other places, it's very typical that there isn't an established profession, that people learn horticulture, then they learn therapeutic skills and they put them together, or they learn on the job, or they find themselves in this line of work kind of by accident in a way. So we can explain what we know to you if you would like to get in touch with the query service at Trellis, and then that allows us to just focus on the Portuguese presentation. Is that okay?
Lauren has put the email in the
Great.
box there.
Okay.
Do you think that's possibly ought to hold it there? I'm sure there's loads more questions. Such an enjoyable presentation, but perhaps we should come to a close. Oh, Fiona, you're muted yourself. Oh no, wait a minute, who was chairing?
Yeah, I will.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry we don't have time for more questions. We have
someone asked in the chat that about the professional training in prisons in Portugal, and I think it is recognized, and there are so is the kind of training that is equivalent to level 3. Okay, so actually is something the same with people in some vocational training of mental health disability people. So it can be can be different, but in the prisons with people that are there, it will be equivalent to level 3. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So there is some training, but it's very different across sectors. And yeah, I'm sorry we don't have time for more questions. It would be great to discuss more. I think maybe we can send some questions on to you by email and share the answers when we're sending out the video afterwards. But it's been fantastic. We've loved hearing about your work. There's so much really interesting work, and with a huge positive impact going on across Portugal. And I think I've wanted to include Portugal in the seminar series for many years, and I'm so glad that I found you three speakers. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much.